Hey Sugar Snaps, welcome to the Textile and YouTube channel. My name is Brittany and today is the second part in my rag rug weaving series. In this video, I'm going to share a simple trick on how to tie two pieces of fabric strips together so that they don't add as much bulk to your weaving. We'll set up our warp so you can start weaving and go over weaving spaces and how to create a weaving environment. In last week's video, which you can find in the description below, I went over how to prep your materials, rag rug looms, and how to create your own or find resources for one, and how to calculate the amount of fabric strips you'll need for both the warp and the weft of your rag rug. So here's an example of the joint I'm going to show you. As you can see, it ends up squishing down quite small, so as you weave, it's not going to create lumps or huge bumps in your weaving, and this compared to what it would look like if you tied a knot, tied two ends of the fabric together, you end up with a lot more bulk with the knot than you do with the tie I'm going to show you. So to create a low profile joint, we're going to line up two ends together, fold over the ends, and create a little cut parallel to those sides. Now bring them apart and put one through the hole of the other from the bottom. Open up the hole on the one you just brought through and send this end, the same piece, through this loop on the top fabric. Pull the end through. And then grab the end from this piece on the left through the hole of the right piece. So you have this little bow tie looking structure here on both sides, and then pull on the ends to tighten that up, and you end up kind of wrapping the fabric around itself here and end up with a low profile joint that in comparison to the knot is nice and flush. Now you'll do this joint for all the ends of all of your warp pieces. With all my warp wrapped up and ready to go, I have this basket here that I'm going to set it in so that it can roll around that and not catch dirt all over from my floor. And I'm going to start warping my loom. I like to warp from left to right because I'm right-handed, so it makes it easier to move that direction, kind of like we would read. I'm going to start out on the bottom by taking about a 10-inch tail, creating a little loop in the warp fabric at that point and looping this around that farmost nail, and then bring it up around the nail up here, down to the next nail, up and over. So we're moving in a zigzag pattern up and around each nail so that you have one wrap around each point. I'm moving left to right. So that starting knot looped over the nail looks like that. Now I want to talk about weaving space, because this is going to be pretty important working on a rag rug, which is kind of a large project. So rag rug weaving is a labor of love, as are most fiber arts, which means that it's going to take a lot of time and effort to make your rug. So finding a space that you feel comfortable in that's going to support your body so that you don't tire out quickly, taking care of your lower back and weaving in a position that's comfortable, all of those things are good to keep in mind as you're setting up for your rag rug weaving. So a few things that I like to consider are how I'm going to prop up my loom. I like to weave propped up upright rather than laying the loom down flat, because I find laying it flat, I have to lean over and it starts to tire out my lower back. So I prop it up either against a wall or a coffee table. If I'm working in the kitchen, I can prop it up on the counters and do a few rows between cooking dinner. Something where you can prop it up and still feel comfortable weaving. And then the second part of that is finding a good chair or standing scenario that feels comfortable. So if you're working at a coffee table, either a couch or a yoga cushion or a chair, something that will support you and help you to enjoy the weaving process. And another thing I like to keep in mind is where I'm weaving This area can change, obviously, if you want to carry your loom around the house. It is portable, so that's possible. Finding a place like next to the TV or in the kitchen, like I mentioned earlier, while you're fixing dinner, somewhere that maybe you can get your hands on it a little more frequently and make progress slowly rather than in one very long sitting. So I encourage you to, for now, find somewhere that you think you'll be able to make some good progress on your weaving. Get your warp set up and prep all of your strips of warp. And you can also do the tying and setting up of your weft fabric, so the pieces that you're going to be weaving with. And next week, I'm going to go over how to start weaving your rag rug. For updates on all the Textile Indie content, use this nifty QR code to sign up for my email list or use the links in the description below. Thanks so much for joining me in this project. Until next week, happy making. See you later.